And I, for one, welcome our new insect overlords. I'm John Renton with the retro view of them, ah! Yeah, it's a movie about giant atomic ants in the new atomic age, directed by Gordon Douglas and considered one of the best creature features of the 50s. The endless recycled amount of creature features. At least this one only had a little bit of stock footage, because when you got to the later 50s, my oh my, a lot of stock footage. Take a look at the mole people. Actually, don't take a look at that. It was really goddamn shit. Joseph Gershishen, the music supervisor for movies like Creature from the Black Lagoon and other projects, was directing that one. This has nothing to do with that. That came out in 57 or 58, I believe. This is about them. And yeah, giant ants, and that's really all there is. Though I do remember more shit happening in this movie upon rewatching it, even though it is one of the best creature features. I would argue the 50s, 60s, 40s, 50s, or 60s, even into the 70s. Yeah, sure, there's the usual padding, people like having to, investigate stuff that they already know is going down and doing some scenes to just stretch the shit out to 92 minutes. You could have argued about 10 minutes of this could have been cut off. But Gordon Douglas, by the way, did a lot of movies like Flint. Something I need to retro review at some point. It was also written by Ted Sheridan, who did a lot of war stuff and a lot of dramas. And the adaptation was done by Russell S. Hughes. And also the story was done by George Worthing Yates. And I'm sorry, those last two names sound way too snooty to be doing a film about giant ants. So you have James Whitmore, who was in The Shawshank Redemption and lived quite the life. I mean, consider that he was in a movie back in 1954 and then was in a movie in 1994. That's quite the long career. And if you see a picture of James Whitmore, you will recognize him. He plays Sergeant Ben Peterson. Not to be confused with Mr. Bend Over. I couldn't help it. I should have, but I couldn't. And him, along with his partner, are investigating this, mysterious girl that's just wandering around in the desert. She was known as the Ellenson's girl. And she was the one to scream, them! They don't show her on the back here, but yeah, she was a little girl that they put the stuff in, under her nose, and she starts screaming. So, yeah, they don't realize the giant ants are happening, or the cause of all this yet. They investigate the fact this little girl's missing. They find a trailer that is all hollowed out from the inside. Sugar, do, by all the ants, do. That, the giant ants should have actually gotten Archie, the Archie band, because it would have been a whole lot better. Not, Archie, Edith, we're supposed to be incognitus. But anyway, yeah, there's other people in this cast as well. There's Edmund Gwenn. There's Joan Weldon, who was born in 1930 and lived till 2021. She was just under 91 years old when she passed away. A long life. She looked great in this, I want to say. James Arness, Onslow Stevens, which just sounds like a great MMA fighter name. I mean, I don't know. Sean McClory and Chris Drake, and then Sandy Desher was a little girl. And only the might of the military and the two Medford doctors can stop these atomically powered ants. So, yeah, we start with the cops. They find the girl. The girl gets taken to the hospital, but not before hearing the little chittering of the ants with their antenna. Are you a television set? Gary Busey has to mirror that same question every morning. Good old Riff Tracks had to get that one in. And I did kind of find it funny that the trailer was, hollowed out, basically. Damn tornado causing ants. This takes place at first in New Mexico and then goes over to Texas. Not that you'd be able to tell the difference, because I think they pretty much just use like 3 locations. But there's nobody around, and the antagonistic is the only sound. The sandstorm and deep hurting, and a beat up general store. We don't ever get to see the man that owns the general store and is spitting in a spittoon and drinking, cider out of a jug or blowing on a jug or whatever the hell people did with general stores back, when television was just coming around. And then Ben's partner, Blackburn, Not Stanley Blackburn, deep cut for wrestling fans. He dies by going out in the sandstorm and shooting indiscriminately and not running away from the giant ant that was just off screen. Good job there. So he was the one with the massive eyebrows. I mean, seriously, he could have stabbed the goddamn ants with his eyebrows. FBI shows up, they do investigations, and old Dr. Medford puts stuff under the girl's nose. Them. It's this, this compound that he managed to get her with, and turned out that a guy, I believe maybe her dad or just somebody that they found, had like a lot of acid in him. He was doing a lot of drugs. No, he had a lot of acid, and that was a way that they paralyzed him before killing him. So they get sand goggles. They go around and find this giant hill with this giant hole in the middle of the desert. If you were like 8 feet tall, you could have seen that thing. But they had numerous planes flying around like in the beginning. How did they not notice that giant hill out there? Well, they end up deciding to get stuff together, like the military gets bazookas, not Bazooka Joe comics. They fire near the hole and then eventually in the hole, and then they have a bunch of explosions, some that look like they put fuses on tin cans. Great production here, and I love them, don't get me wrong, but upon rewatching, they could have made this stuff look a little bit better. I'm not saying this had the biggest budget like Creature from the Black Lagoon, which had Jack Arnold directing it, and maybe some of the other creature features before and immediately after, but them still had a pretty sizable budget, probably along the same lines as Tarantula, adjusted for inflation, of course. And they decided to just burn everything in the tunnels, and it's all over. Wait, we still have 40-something minutes left, so let's go to more investigation. First, we show stock footage of film, of nature film stuff, and they talk about the various ants and how ants can fly, and we then go to the fact that, well, a ship got destroyed, the USS Viking. Not the USS Viking Raiders, not the Viking Experience. More deep cut for wrestling fans. But if you don't kill the queens, you're totally fucked. Brownsville, Texas, by the way, apparently is right on the water. I don't know much about Texas. But they were able to, these ants were able to basically fly, get on this ship and kill people for sugar reasons, because they didn't like Vikings in a previous life. Stuff just started happening. You really don't need to worry about monster stuff going on. After the tunnel part, the movie kind of, I don't want to say struggles in the second half, but it doesn't quite have the strength in its legs like it did up to that tunnel portion. So there's a part of a train yard or whatever where they're really tracking it here. And more sugar, gets consumed because ants love sugar. They absolutely love sugar. Sugar cubes, the Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray, I don't know. Maybe it falls apart. And then they must run away. And yeah, that's right, a Sugar Ray reference. That's like the only song of theirs besides Fly that I know. Well, that and Every Morning. The band was a little bit weird, especially the lead singer. Yeah. So, now all of a sudden, they're interrogating various people that have seemingly found, the ants, because that wasn't the only ant colony. They found one in the tunnels of L.A., according to the description on the back here, in the storm drains of Los Angeles, some 700 miles away. Good geography there. Don't know how the hell they did that, but nevertheless. Now, Peterson is leading other people to try and destroy these ants for good. Also, there's 2 children that ran into the sewers because these children were, along with their dad, were attacked. And these kids are idiots. Immediately not running away from the ants, they run towards where the ants are. These kids were stupid. This is why you don't let your children play outside. Give them video games and let them go at it. Oh, wait, this is the 50s. They either had playing outside or being comically offensive to the one black family that rolled in. I kid, maybe I don't. They go into the woods, Peterson's leading. Peterson gets pinched trying to rescue the kids, so he's dead. Good job, kids. Morons. And then a tunnel cave starts to collapse, or a tunnel starts to collapse. This one guy's shooting out the ants. And then others manage to dig through really quickly and shoot up. We have just a few minutes left, and Dr. Medford, the old Dr. Medford, happens to look and see, oh yeah, here's all these queens or princess ants, and this is it. Yeah, this is totally it. We don't have anything else left. Let's just burn them. And then when we ushered in the atomic age, shit like this will happen. He didn't say shit, but it would have been funny. That's it for them. Actually, it's a pretty good movie. It sounds like I'm dumping on it, and maybe that's just because it does struggle in the second act. But it is pretty good overall, and it is something certainly worth enjoying some 70 years later. So let me know your thoughts on this particular program, and movie, rather, in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.